Tommy and Tapp from bloodhorse.com, and we're recapping the Fasig-Tipton July Yearling Sale. This video is brought to you by TaylorMade Sales Agency. There was just one Tappet yearling in the sale, and that filly was the sales topper at $500,000. Out of the stakes-winning Speightstown mare French Dip, the filly sold to agent Steve Young. Brian Graves from Gainesway, where Tappet stands and who consigned the filly, wasn't surprised to see a Tappet yearling top the sale.
He's the leading stallion in North America, so to get 500 for a nice filly like that is not over the top surprising. We expected something in that range, and we're thankful to Steve Young for buying her, but we think he got a nice filly.
Graves also discussed the strategy in bringing her to July as opposed to waiting for Saratoga or Keeneland September.
It was really simple. We have 18 Tappet fillies to place this year, and we thought we'd spread them out a little bit, and we just thought she'd be a nice fit for this sale. She was big and early and precocious looking, and we thought she'd suit this market. We didn't necessarily think that the extra time would benefit her. She was an easy filly to prepare for the sale. She just looked ready, and so with that in mind, you know, it's always good to sell a horse when they're ready.
The top price colt was the $385,000 Scat Daddy colt that went to J.J. Kruppe's Newcastle farm. We talked to Shaq Parrish at Indian Creek, who consigned the colt.
Well, he was pinhooked. The owner bought him for $90, and he bought him because he needed another colt, because he only had one colt. And so he bought him last year. And then it was his thought, and we concurred, that he might be a standout here instead of waiting for September and there'd be 40 or 50 Scat Daddies. And with Scat Daddy doing what he's doing, and he looked a lot like his father, it all just sort of fell in place.
A $335,000 Blame colt that sold to Ellen Charles represented the biggest weanling to yearling pinhook. Tammy Bobo's First Finds bought the colt for just $20,000 at last year's Keeneland November sale. The colt had a small chip that dissuaded some buyers, but Bobo still thought she had a good deal.
I was quite astonished that that's all the horse brought. From the day that the horse was purchased, I had said all along, I said, you know, I don't want to jinx us, and if it's God's will, this horse will sell and people will appreciate him for what he is, because if this horse just continues to come on the way he's coming, he's going to be incredible.
Bobo also thought she put a fair reserve on the colt.
I put $149,000 reserve, and I felt after shortlisting at this sale, my vets have been working for me vetting and scoping, and I felt with the composure of that, and after my shortlist, because I am here actively trying to buy yearlings, I felt that I couldn't replace that horse at this sale for me as a pinhook for next year for less, you know, for that money. But I wanted to be fair. So to me, I felt like I wanted, you know, of course you always want to put a bigger reserve, but I wanted the public to dictate what they felt my horse was worth.
We also talked with Jake Ballas, whose Ghost Bloodstock purchased Hip 91, one of two $300,000 quality road fillies at the July sale.
Yeah, I mean, she was my #1 horse at the sale, and I honestly wasn't going to buy any other horse if I couldn't get her. I thought she'd be $250 to $350, so I think I paid, you know, market value. I don't think I got a steal by any means. I don't think I overpaid. So that was the only one I really wanted, and when she was there at $300 and landed, then I knew my job was done.
The feeling throughout the day was that this was a strong sale, and that was borne out in the $77,000 median price, which was a 10% increase from last year's July sale. 37% of the yearlings sold made six figures, which helped the average tick up 3.6% to $97,585. The clearance rate also improved slightly, as the RNA rate fell to 29% from 31% a year ago. Fasig-Tipton's Reed Ringler talked about some of the themes of the sale.
The stallion variety is just incredible. I mean, there's many stallions represented here. Some freshman stallions like Creative Cause, see Shackelford doing well, Caleb's Posse doing well, obviously the Factor doing well. So a lot of variety in stallions. You know, I think it's probably been mislabeled a little bit as a pinhooker sale the last few years. But I will say, looking at the buyer's bench so far this year, the pinhookers have come pretty strong. And several of them, including Nick DeMerick, playing at the top, which you'd expect. But obviously they had a good spring, and it's carried over to this, which is what we hope for. You see a lot of early athletes in this sale, and the pinhookers are going at it pretty hard.
Immediately following the yearlings was the Summer Horses of Racing Age sale. For coverage of that sale, visit bloodhorse.com.